When I started taking this seriously, I built an income pretty quickly. And that was just because there was a simple system that I could follow. It's all there. It's like a business in a box. You just unwrap it, follow the instructions. You can then start to build an income really, really quickly if you are committed and willing to get out of your comfort zone. My income was up about the £6,000 a month mark. But one of our joint friends, she is probably one of the top income earners, I'd say, in the UK. And I know her income was to nearly 100,000 a month.
Welcome to episode 235 of Wealth Talk. My name's Christian Rodwell, the Membership Director for WealthBuilders, joined today by our founder, Mr. Kevin Whelan. Hi, Kevin.
Hello, Chris. Good to be with you again.
Yes, and back with one of our members again this week, another success story. And today we're featuring Lisa Hunt, who joined WealthBuilders not too long ago, December 2022, and has had a really good year. Joined with her husband, Tim, and they've got 2 children, so family at the heart of obviously their inspiration as well. And we're really honing in on pillar 5, which is the business pillar today, because Lisa has been involved in business for a number of years now, and it's a model of business that we know as network marketing. And it's not a concept we've discussed too much on the podcast before, so we thought we'd shine a light on this method.
Yeah, why not? Because look, business comes in many different formats, and recurring income is at the very heart of what we teach within WealthBuilders, and all businesses have got the power to potentially create recurring income inside the business. And all too often, I think Lisa refers to it herself, most people are trading time for money. Do a day's work, get a day's pay. Do a month's work, get a month's pay. And that's language she uses, and that's very much WealthBuilder language. And I think for many people, the idea of network marketing as one of the business types is one of the easiest to start. It's one of the easiest to align to your passion or your interest, and it's one of the easiest to get your head around if you've got the right product, your own personal wealth dynamic is right, and she'll talk about that, I'm sure, and many ways to create recurring income. So before you go into any business, unless you're going in as a income maximizer, you're trying to just top up your income, which is perfectly fine as well, because in that section in the Wealth Builder program, Chris, we do talk about it's absolutely okay, isn't it, just to make more money, because by making more money, you're getting different experiences, you're getting a movement of the needle in terms of relationships. You're also, I suppose, taking care of some of the basics of life as well. And you can plant some seeds with some of that money that you make. And so for many people, you can get into network marketing relatively easy, either as a side hustle, an SIDE, as we've done in many podcasts before, or as a genuine source of recurring income. So I think it's worth reminding our listeners of what those recurring income streams are in a business, so that if you go on a journey to become a business owner, whether you invent a business, whether you create a franchise or buy a franchise, or whether you follow a networking marketing process, which is a business format model, the model's already created for you. You're not creating a network marketing, you're joining a network marketing business. So it's kind of business in a box, really. But the 4 income streams that can be recurring is the recurring income from the sale of a product. And I think Lisa talks more about that because it's a product-based business that she resonated with. But it could be a service, so generating a recurring income from the auto delivery of some kind of a service rather than the auto delivery of some kind of product. You've then got memberships and subscriptions, which is obviously a big part of what WealthBuilders does. And finally, you've got the concept, which is a little bit more, I suppose, left field, called the gateway, where instead of being very specific in a product and a niche, you're looking for a niche that's quite wide. So you're looking for an opportunity to see what people are searching for, and then curate content and curate suppliers and opportunities to earn money from almost condensing that to make it easier for people to find. And I've talked about these things before, Chris, so you could probably showcase me talking about recurring income inside businesses and how to do that. And this is a good model. This is just one we haven't really talked about before. So I think it definitely needs an airing. And of course, like any business, not for everybody. And no single pillar is for everybody. So I would say keep an open mind on the concept. I know you dive into one or two of the misnomers, one or two of the myths and the language that goes around with network marketing, but it's just a method by which retail products are distributed in a different format. Instead of going to a shop to get it, you're getting it delivered. And I think she's done well. She talks about her highs and her lows, but she's done well, and certainly she's in the right space for her own wealth dynamic. And as you could tell, for those of you who know the language, she's very people connected, which we call blaze energy. It's kind of lighting a fire, isn't it? And she does have that enthusiasm that lights fires. And I'll debrief one of the points she makes. I think it's a fantastic point she makes when she's building those relationships. So anyway, it's a good interview, Chris, and I think there's some good lessons to share.
Absolutely. And Lisa's doing a great job of utilising the business pillar alongside other pillars, now working on property with her husband, Tim, as well. So multiple pillars, we know, multiple income streams is the path forward to financial security, onwards to independence. So let's head on over today to our conversation with Lisa Hunt. Great to have you with us. Looking forward to hearing your story today. And you've been a member of WealthBuilders since December 2022. You joined with your husband, Tim. I know you've got 2 children as well. So how's your first year with WealthBuilders been? And can you remember why you joined? What was that initial reason?
Oh, I can't believe it's been a year, to be honest. And it's been a massive education curve already. And the reason we joined was, I have been in the headspace of building recurring income streams for a number of years now because of my network marketing business, which I know we're going to talk a little bit about. So I was my eyes were opened up to that a number of years ago. But then when I got together with my husband, he was very much in the contracting freelancer world, work a day, get paid a day, and that quite linear thinking around income. So I just thought, actually, this is an amazing opportunity because I've been talking about developing additional income streams and had already begun to. But Tim, we were just on different pages with our mindset around it. So I was like, this is the perfect opportunity. If we join WealthBuilders, we can do it together. We can go through the education process together. And I think it gave him, we definitely got different risk appetites. So he's a bit more risk averse than me. So I think I knew it would give him that kind of sense of, reassurance, I suppose. So that's why I joined in the first place.
Yeah, we often see different dynamics between partners. And, even if one of the partners isn't so interested, it's just nice for them to kind of have your back and understand what you're doing. And of course, with 2 children, I guess a big part of your reason why is to build up a legacy to be able to pass on to them. Yeah,
massively. So I think definitely legacy. Not have financial stress in our lives because I've seen what that does to people and to families and what that can, the stress that can bring. I've always traveled a lot with work and I was very lucky to, when I was younger. So I want to give that opportunity to our family as well. And just, like a lot of people who join WealthBuilders, that sense of freedom of not being hemmed in by someone else's agenda is really, really important to me.
And the only way to achieve that, we know, is by generating recurring income streams from assets so that you're not tied to a job or a business. But business can come in different shapes and forms. And today we're looking at a model, which is network marketing. And this is a business you've been involved in for a long time. Tell us a little bit about your business, Lisa.
So, I joined a network marketing business back in 2013, so a while ago now. My business, the company I joined specifically was in the area of health and wellness, so kind of beauty, nutrition, skincare. And the nutrition side is a massive passion of mine. And I was introduced to it when I was working full on in the corporate world as, hardcore management consultancy for a big global company. And I'd moved to Australia and I was kind of half living the dream in that I would live near the beach in Perth and it was really beautiful and sunny. But I thought when I moved from London to Australia, everything would change naively, even though I was doing the same job. So I felt like I'd just moved the stresses of corporate from London to this beautiful place. And it was almost worse because I couldn't spend the time on the beach that I wanted to. And I was just in the office the whole time. So I didn't really know I was looking for something, but I think almost in the back of my head, I was like, is this going to be it for the rest of my life? And I just got a call out the blue from a girl that I used to work with actually in that same corporate company. And she said, I've started a business with a company called Arbonne, which is a health and wellness business. And you're the first person I thought of. I'd love to do this with you. Can I share a bit about it with you? And she literally gave me the lowdown over Skype. Back then we didn't have Zoom. And it really immediately, 'cause first of all, I was quite cynical and I just thought, oh God, it's one of those things, knocking on doors and all that kind of stuff. A, I don't have time for that. B, I wouldn't want to do that. But when she shared what the business opportunity was over Skype, I was completely blown away by the ability to build, not have to give up my job, but so build it around what I was already doing, which was a very, very busy job. Carve out a little bit of time each day and actually start to share these gorgeous products that I started to use that really transform my health, and also share a business opportunity. And, it has allowed me to build a consumer network essentially across the world of people just using these amazing products, and also teaching them to build a business of their own doing the same thing. So yeah, it's a global online health and wellness business, which you can literally build wherever that company, for me, it's 7 countries at the moment. We're looking to globalize further. And you can build, that network all over the place.
Yeah, that's fantastic. And we're going back sort of over 10 years now, aren't we, to that moment? And before the term side hustle probably was even coined.
No one talked about it then. And it's so weird. And that whole, I'm very much into, a lot of people find this quite woo-woo, but I think it's really important, the whole law of attraction mindset. Before I heard about Arbonne and I got that call, about 3 days before that, my housemate who I was living with gave me a book called The 4-Hour Work Week, which I know a lot of your members will know, by Tim Ferriss. And I read it and I just remember thinking, this is completely turning on its head the way I think about earning income. It's the first time I'd ever thought about recurring income, and not that face time, got to work a day, get paid a day, work a month, get paid a month, and getting out of that model. And then 3 days later, I got essentially a knock on my door or a phone call saying, do you want to hear about Arbonne? And it was almost like that law of attraction, that energy got put out there, and that's what landed on my lap. And yeah, I haven't looked back really.
So before we sort of dive into how you started to build that business and where you've managed to take it in that period of time, can you just give us a sort of overall brief summary of what is the term network marketing? How does that differ to any other kind of business?
Yeah, sure. So I think a lot of people will be familiar with the term direct sales. So that is basically where a company is creating the product or manufacturing the product. So for me, for example, if you take like a bag of protein powder, which is something that I sell, manufacture the product, and normally in the normal retail model, that product would go through a number of different processes before it got onto a shelf in a retail store, where someone would go and pick it up and pay for it. And a lot of what they're paying for is actually that process cost that's got it there, including all the the insurance and the retail space and the people who are selling it in the store and all that kind of stuff. So the consumer's paying quite a lot for that process rather than just the quality of the ingredients. So with direct sales, a lot of that middleman cost is missed out, and basically it's going straight from essentially that manufacturer via an online transaction straight to the consumer. So there's direct sales. So in a network marketing business, there's 2 tracks, certainly in my business, Arbonne. One is the direct sales side, where I literally sell products to customers and they just buy them online through the Arbonne website. But every time they buy a product, I essentially get paid a thank you commission from Arbonne. And that's not just the first time they purchase, that's, whenever they purchase over and over and over again for the rest of their life. And I treat, my clients very well. And then the other track is what we call network marketing, is where you actually start to build a team of people and you teach and coach them to do exactly the same. So I go out and I share the business and I share the products, and then some people say, yeah, I'd love to just use the products, and they become a consumer, and that's the direct sales side. And some people decide they want to build a business too and go out and share this with other people, share the business, share the products, and they can become a consultant too and start to build a business as well. And you then get paid essentially a commission on that team volume of product that starts to flow through your network. So you're getting paid on the direct sales side and also the team volume. So you've kind of got those 2 tracks, essentially, the direct sales and the network marketing side, if that makes sense. And it can be completely unlimited. And I think the compensation plan is important in a network marketing company to be completely fair. So someone could join my business, they can earn more than me, they can go above the levels of me if they want to work harder than me. They're not hemmed in by, the fact they started after me.
Yeah, that's very well explained. And I think there's, you can see the similarities to many forms of business there. It's personal service, it's recommendation, it's word of mouth. And that personal cutting out that middleman means you have got a much better relationship with your customers. And I'm sure once you win a customer and they buy from you, they get a great result from the products, they're with you for a long time.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's what's so lovely about it. Like any business, it's a relationship business. So I don't just sell products and then it's just a transactional sales process for me. I mean, I had literally a conversation with someone yesterday who's getting married soon, and she's been using our skincare for a while, and now she wants to add in some nutrition because she wants to start, almost doing a bit of an inside out glow up as well as outside in. And we just, we had a long conversation about what is going to work for her, what isn't, what she likes, what she doesn't. And it's such a personalized service, and it's such a pleasure. It's such a nice way of doing business. So yeah, they get a really personalized service, lots of gifting. Arbonne, my company, certainly does a lot of incentivizing anyway for consumers, which they cover. I just inform the customers. So it's not me, giving them extra gifts or anything like that. I mean, I can do it at my discretion, but Arbonne do a lot of that for us, and we're just spokespeople, but we can give amazing customer service, which is a real pleasure. Yeah, so it's a nice win-win.
And the model's been around a long time. I mean, probably going back to 1950s, 60s, when you had Herbalife and some of the early companies. A lot of it started in America from my understanding. But there's still, unfortunately, some people who have this stigma. And I'm going to throw this horrible word at you, which I used to have here when I was in, oh, it's just a pyramid. What's your response to that, Lisa, in this day and age now?
It's interesting because to see how much it's evolved over the last 10 years. And when I first started, first of all, I didn't really know what a pyramid scheme, and most people don't actually. So when I first started, I remember someone saying to me when I first, started sharing this with people, and a girl that I worked with said, "Oh, so it's a pyramid scheme then?" And I went, "Yeah, I think so," because I had no clue. But no, it's not a pyramid scheme. And pyramid schemes are, there's no product being sold. There's no service at the heart of it. It is literally almost like a house of cards where people are, putting in money at the promise of some kind of mythical return. This is like any retail store essentially, but with the slight difference in model that we talked about. So there's a product. No Arbonne consultant gets paid without a product being sold. And when you actually ask the question about, well, what do you think a pyramid scheme is? No one really knows. I think it's just this throwback to, there is some awful Ponzi schemes that happened. We know that. And I think what I would say is there are bad players in this industry and there are good players like anything else. And you want to do your due diligence when you're looking at a network marketing company. You look at the quality of the product, you look at the quality of the leadership and the culture and the training. You have to have a quality product or service at the heart of it. So if you think of like utilities warehouse, great organization, saving people money on their utilities. So you've got to have something that is being sold. But I think, for me personally, when someone asks, well, it's a pyramid scheme, then I have learned to not be defensive and just to ask them what they mean by that. And more often than not, people don't actually know what that is. And honestly, back in the day, people did have to buy thousands of pounds worth of stock, keep it in their cupboard, and pedal around on bikes and knock on people's doors, dropping it off. None of that now. I don't, when someone joins my business and starts an Arbonne business, they just get products to use themselves. They don't have to stock up, and then when they start to actually build a customer base, those customers are just buying online and those products are shipped directly to their door. So there's no holding stock. I mean, I hold a little bit to do events and stuff if I want to. So yeah, it's very, very different.
Thank you for explaining that. I really wanted to make sure that there was no one listening who that word was lingering in their mind there. And as you say, in almost all cases, they don't really fully understand what that term is referring to anyway. So let's rewind back then. So you now are a business owner back in 2013 and all excited about this new opportunity and what it might bring. What was that first year like for you?
It was interesting. So I went off to a bit of a flying start, to be honest. And I was working my full-time corporate consulting job. Had no clue what I was doing in Arbonne at all. No clue. And most people don't. But then, the training comes in. We've got a really clear system now. Things have moved on a lot. We literally have the system that people can follow. We coach them through it. But back then I was like, right, what do I do? And no one seemed to know. So I just kind of started speaking to people. But I had a few people who joined my team pretty quickly. I started to build a bit of a client base quickly, and I was living in Australia, and actually that all happened in the UK. So it was very much like a global business from day one. But as it happened, I'd just taken a sabbatical with my job. And I was going traveling for 6 months. So I was getting in a camper van and going off grid in remote national parks of Australia, doing like a solo surf tour. So it wasn't, in hindsight, an amazing time to start an online business. But I did it anyway, and I committed just to doing the personal development and learning. And I would have my I bought one smart top, and I'd get in my camper van if I was in a national park and drive 2 hours to do like a presentation to someone in the UK. They could just see the top half, and then I was wearing my boardies. So I built my business to the first level of success, and in Arbonne there's 4. Pretty quickly in the first couple of months. So I started to build a bit of an income, and that looked like about £500 a month. I'd say £300 to £500 a month, which was great. But then because I was traveling and I was then all over the place, that just stagnated. I just stayed there for ages, and I really didn't take my business seriously. And I was still having that little bit of income. But when I got back to the UK, which was 2016, was when I really started to take it seriously and actually really treat it as a committed business, building my business every day. So yeah, I kind of hung around at the first level of success with a small residual income for quite a while.
Let's talk about some of the benefits around network marketing, because there are many. For someone who is new to business, for someone who's, perhaps never had to have that, mindset of going out there and selling and building a team. So what are some of the benefits that you found when you joined Arbonne in terms of supporting you to become really an established business person?
There's so many amazing things about network marketing that I don't think people necessarily understand until you're in it. Like anything, until you're in it, it's quite hard to see it from the outside. But the support in the community is the first thing. You're building a business for yourself, but you're never by yourself. You're always surrounded by people who've got your back, who have been before you, and are looking for you to be successful. And my mentor who brought me into the business, she wants to coach and mentor me and to be successful, because I'm obviously part of her team. And so she can, that is part of the volume that she can earn off. Now that doesn't change what I can earn, but she wants me to be successful. So that creates an incredibly supportive bunch of people who just have your back and will train and coach you. And it's all the training is free, whether it's online or the conferences we pay for, but a nominal amount for the conference rooms. So yeah, amazing training and support, better than anything I've ever had in corporate. And that is all for free. And a huge amount of it is mindset training and personal development, which you can then use and is so transferable to like improving other parts of your life, be it work, relationships, parenting. I mean, it's had a huge impact on my life generally. So I would say one of the other things is how simple it is. So when I really started to get this and I really started to build my business properly, it can turn on a dime quite quickly. And being in the property world, I realized there's definitely a bit of a longer term process that you've got to go through. When I started taking this seriously, I built an income pretty quickly. And that was just because there was a simple system that I could follow. And you're finding people to talk to, you're sharing the products, you're sharing the business opportunity. Some people want to become a client, some people want to become a consultant, and then you teach the consultant what you did. And it's all there. It's like a business in a box. You just unwrap it, follow the instructions. And if you're willing to commit, you can build something amazing. So I think how simple it is. It's all online, it's global. You can then start to build an income really, really quickly if you are committed and willing to get out of your comfort zone. And you have to be willing to get out of your comfort zone. Because like you said, some people are going to be like, what are you doing? It's network marketing, it's a pyramid scheme. And you've got to have the conviction and know that this is a smart business model with smart people. It can be done well, it can be done badly. But as long as you're willing to commit and learn the right skills, then you can build something incredible. So I think the simplicity of it. It's low startup costs. So I paid £70 to become an Arbonne consultant. I bought products to use myself, and that's really it. Now that is a good thing and a bad thing, because I think it's amazing because it means it's open to anyone. Most people can afford £70 and get involved in a business, and then the earnings are completely unlimited. But that's a low startup cost. So some people join, and I'd say honestly, if you look at the stats of how many people earn good money in in network marketing, they're low, and that's because most people join and don't do anything. And I kind of liken it to joining a gym. You've got people who join, never do anything. You've got people who join, do a little bit now and then you've got people who join and commit and actually get themselves really fit and maintain and sustain and grow that fitness over time. And that's the same thing in network marketing.
So let me dive in on that point then, Lisa. So we talk about having a catalyst when it comes to building wealth, and that catalyst could be all sorts of different life events that mean enough is enough. You have that moment. What do you think makes a successful network marketer? Do you think it's a particular personality. So we do wealth dynamics in Wealth Builders, and we know there's some people who are very blaze energy. They love connecting and talking, but then you've got people who are very good at systems. And so, is there a certain personality type that you see performs better when it comes to this type of business?
I'm a blaze energy, so I know that I love connecting with people and meeting new people. And the reality is you have to meet new people to build a successful network marketing company. And I think where a lot of people's downfall is they come in and they might have been sold this by someone, and that's not the right thing to do. But they might come in thinking, I can build a successful business by selling some products to my friends. And you'll earn a bit of money doing that, but that's not going to build you a global, sustainable business with a great recurring income. You need to connect with new people. But if I look at the profile of my team and of Arbonne, certainly in the UK and globally, but in the UK, I'm obviously much more familiar with. And I know so many people doing Arbonne. There's people of all different personality types. And like you say, some people are amazing online. I'm pretty naff on social media. I'm okay. And I do build my business on social media, but I'm definitely go out, live my life, meet someone with my kids in the park. I love your energy. Would you be up for taking a look at what I do? And let's connect over coffee. And that's how I built the majority of my business. Some people like to be online behind the screen. And for some people, they like to build funnels. They've still got to then meet the person, have the personal touch. As long as you are willing to get out your comfort zone and connect with people, that system for connecting with people can look very different for different people depending on their personality types. So I've seen people be successful with all personality types, but the common factor is willingness to get out their comfort zone and get uncomfortable, willingness to take responsibility for their business. And I think, in Wealth Builders, that applies to whatever you're doing, and to really learn new skills and grow your mindset. And that's got to be to me, is a daily top up. I do something on my mindset every single day. So I think people who are willing to do that and have that courage of their conviction will be successful in network marketing. And you've got to work blooming hard. But what I'm realizing, like anything else, going into property, you've got to work blooming hard in that as well to make it successful. So yeah, you've got to have a good work ethic.
Yeah, we're talking about recurring income here, and the word passive income is often used, and there's very little passive income. It's possible, but the hard work has to come first. And on the topic of income, let's talk about some of the numbers then, Lisa. So network marketing, we know, has the potential to generate, hundreds of thousands per year from the plan if you build a big team. Give us some of the numbers in terms of what you've been able to achieve with Arbonne yourself.
Yeah, so like I said, when I first started, I built an income to about £500 pretty quickly a month. With network marketing, it ebbs and flows depending on what's going on. But that was fairly stable for a little while. And then up until the pandemic, I guess for probably for about 2.5, 3 years before the pandemic hit, my income was up about the £6,000 a month mark. So I got to regional vice president level in Arbonne in 2018. So there's 4 levels of success, and that you go through those levels, you hit those different levels based on volume turnover of product being sold through your network. So it's not number of people joining or anything like that. It's pure turnover. And you get the compensation plan. You Arbonne say, to get to this level, this is the volume that needs to be sold in your network over a period of time. And so that's regional vice president is the 3rd out of 4 levels. So I hit that in 2018. And yeah, around that time, that was around the kind of £6,000 a month mark, which I built up to. And then the first half of the pandemic was absolutely amazing for network marketing, because I think everyone was at home. People were joining the business because they were worrying about, okay, how am I going to build what am I going to do for income now? And also they had time. And also people were shopping online, as we know, and people had some extra money with furlough and all the rest of it. So that first kind of 6 months, 8 months of the pandemic was an incredible time. And then it really, as the energy of the world flattened, certainly my business did, because my energy flattened completely. If I'm honest, I stopped working my business, not fully, but just with the energy and conviction that I normally do. And so my income dropped. So the kind of second half of the pandemic, it dropped about £2,000 to £2,500 a month. And now I'm building back up from that. And there's some amazing kind of incentives this year I want to go to the top of the company. So yeah, we're kind of climbing out of that pit now, because like anything, it's all about energy and how you show up. and the energy you put into your business, which had really been totally transparent, which I really want to be. I'd lost that energy completely for a year and a half, really.
Again, it emphasizes the importance of building multiple streams of income and not relying on any one source. So, we always advocate, as many pillars as possible. I know you've mentioned already now building income through property pillar as well as others.
And it's really helped me develop skills in other areas. So I'm now just finishing my training to be a coach as well. I never would have done that had I not been an Arbonne consultant, and it opened my eyes to different things and different opportunities, and having building the mindset to have the confidence to do new things. So I'm kind of looking to build a business pillar there. But I think, what it has given me is that the freedom not to have to be in corporate hardcore full time. And I still do corporate consulting, but I do it on my own terms. I do short projects, I do part time. That is a very different feeling for me and my family than it was before.
Yeah, well, it's given you that freedom of time and flexibility and choice, hasn't it now? And I know another Arbonne, business owner, Sarah Law, who you know as well. She's very successful. In fact, I did a panel, a network marketing panel. It must have been about 2016 in London, and Sarah was sat there, and she, she's performed very well. So the potential, if you're successful in any network marketing business, it can. I mean, what kind of numbers are we talking for those who are at the highest level?
Huge. I mean, so a friend of mine who's also a friend of Sarah Law. So I know Sarah Law, she's she's now trained naturopathic nutritionist. She helps people hugely with nutrition through Arbonne and other means. But one of our joint friends, she is probably one of the top income earners, I'd say, in the UK. And I know her income was to nearly 100,000 a month, at that kind of level. Now, that is always disclaimers, like that is not typical. She has worked her butt off. But I know lots of people, like my mentor who's at the top of the company, who I joined when I started Arbonne, she has got a really good corporate level income plus. And she used to be a recruitment business owner. And then when her Arbonne business started becoming so successful, she kind of ditched the recruitment because it was so stressful. And now she's got I'd say 120 grand, 150 grand a year income from Arbonne. So it really, honestly, I know people from earning who are just not doing anything to earning nothing to earning millions of pounds a year. So really, it's anywhere in between. If you've got the conviction, you can do it. And I think it's the focus. This is where I fall down a little bit. I love to do so many different things, and my mentor's always saying, just focus, Lisa.
This comes back to that community and that support network, because I'm sure you rub shoulders with these people. You go to events where they're sharing what they've done. Everyone has started from the same position, haven't they? And the system is the same. I think, again, that's another real benefit for someone who is looking to start a business, is network marketing. It gives you that framework. It gives you that structure. You haven't got to figure it out yourself. You've just got to follow a proven process that others have followed, where you can see the success. But as you say, you've got to put some work in. You've got to be proactive, and you've got to have confidence, which are all lessons in business, full stop. But without that big initial risk of huge amount of personal investment into starting something up or creating something from scratch that you don't know if anybody's going to buy it or not. So I think those are huge benefits. Yeah,
they really are. And I think that's it. The aspirational people that you're around is massive, and going to the big events and we're an online business, but I think over COVID, what it really proved was that it's really important to be able to connect with people belly to belly as well. We do a huge amount of social stuff as a team. I mean, we just had a team social that I organised a couple of weeks ago, and we were on hot tub boats in Canary Wharf going around the river. Amazing thing to do. It was so fun. But that's my team, right? That's our kind of culture and our vibe. We love to do stuff like that. Some people's worst nightmare. But the conferences are incredible. They're very, very inspirational. And what I love about Arbonne and network marketing is that it fosters a kind of sense of honesty and truth, I think. When I go to these conferences, there's people standing on stage telling their stories really honestly, and how network marketing has changed their lives. They'll talk through the adversity as well as all the good stuff. And a lot of it is, yes, there's the income, but it's also the person you become in the process, which I think is just massively important. Because, we've just been through as a family a really hard time recently because we were flooded twice. We've had to get out of our house for a year. There's so much stuff, but the way I've dealt with it is very different for all the skills I've learned and the mindset I've built through having an Arbonne business compared to, I think, how I would have dealt with it. And that obviously is then so transferable to if you're building a property business or a different, another business or setting up a JV or whatever it is. So yeah, I think there's so much that can come from it, but you have to be willing to commit and put yourself out there, like you say.
And for you, of course, it's the product that has worked so well for you and continues to do that. And I'm sure they continue to evolve and create new products, which you benefit from as well. And you see the benefits that others are getting. How important is it that when someone's looking at a network marketing business, that how do they go about choosing the right one for them, would you say?
Yeah. So I think for me, I really liked and trusted the person who introduced me. And so I'm a very, I guess my energy is go with the gut. I'm a real gut feeling kind of person. So for me, I didn't do loads and loads of research. I was just like, I love this person. I love the sound of the product. I'm into kind of health anyway. And it was a very easy decision for me. But I've also had people join my business who researched to the nth degree. So it's the different personality types we were talking about. And I think for me, it's always, I look at a network marketing business and I look at Arbonne as almost like a personal development company wrapped up in skincare and nutrition. So I think one of the big things is the culture and the leadership. The leadership in Arbonne is super classy, and there's some amazing other companies out there who've got incredible leadership. And I think that is something to look at. Look at the leaders. What are they saying? What are they encouraging people to do? We are encouraged in our training. If I approach someone about Arbonne and they've heard about it from someone else and someone else has invested time in them telling them about Arbonne, I will send them back to that person and say, look, if you like what you've heard now, go and speak, go back to that person. They've invested the time. That is our culture. So I think the culture is really important as well. And we've all seen, and again, this is where network marketing can get a bit of a bad rap, where it's quite grabby feeling and, people are trying to poach and all that kind of stuff. That is not what you're looking for. You really want a good, classy culture, leadership, an amazing product that resonates with you. I would not be able to do this if I didn't love the product and I didn't use the product every single day. I mean, if you look around my house, all my nutrition, all my skincare, all my soap, my shampoo, everything is Arbonne. So you've got to live the brand. And I think people who are successful in network marketing, they go through a transformation, and often that's because if you're a product-based business, it's often because of the product, and you go through a mindset transformation. That's when people start to take notice and be like, "What are you doing?" So you want to go through that transformation. The product or the service that you're looking at is generally a part of that. So it's got to resonate with you and it's got to be a great product. And then I think the training, I've spoken to some people who've been in network marketing companies and they haven't had any training. You need to know what to do. And it's really lonely if you're out there trying to figure this out on your own. So the level of training you get, which we're on training calls every Monday night. We've got in-person stuff you can go to. We've got an app, like there's loads. And we connect as a team all the time, be it online or in person. So I think that's really important to look at as well.
Yeah, no, I really appreciate you sharing really openly and honestly about your journey in network marketing, and great to hear that you're, re-energized now, focused, and building not just your business pillar income, but also your property pillar income. How confident do you feel now, Lisa, that you and Tim, you're on the track towards your financial security and independence goals?
Oh yeah, I feel really confident. It goes through, like when I first started Arbonne, I guess now we're just getting into property, we go through those waves of, okay, it's happening. And then there's a setback, you're like, but that's where that whole resilience comes in. So the mindset is really important. But from a macro level, I feel really, really confident that we're putting in the right things. And now we're talking about maybe going to live abroad for a couple of years. We don't know what that looks like yet, but I think it's the weather that's and the flooding that's maybe put that in my mind. But we do feel really confident, and WealthBuilders is a huge part of that, to have that reassurance, like I said, and know that we're turning the wheel, looking at the right things, doing the right due diligence is really helpful. And I think if you look at network marketing, do your due diligence as well. And
I guess we've got to give a shout out to your coach, Manish, as well, who's supported you over the last 12 months.
Yes, I know. I need to book in a call as well. He's been amazing. Really, really amazing. So thanks, Manish.
Yeah. Well, you've been a fantastic member, you and Tim. So thanks so much for sharing today, Lisa. Really appreciate it.
Pleasure. Thanks, Chris.
Okay, thank you, Lisa. She really did share some insights there into her business, her own personal journey. And everyone's on that personal journey, Kevin. It's different for everybody, although we have the roadmap, which we teach our members. And that's the roadmap from financial insecurity to financial security. So we'll dive into some of those lessons in just a moment. Before we do that, let's read out one of our latest reviews from Trustpilot this week. And I'm pulling one out from EK, who says, the Wealth Builders community is a very proactive group with loads of tools to guide and support you on your wealth building journey. I'm very grateful to be part of this community. So thank you, EK.
And he's right. We are on a journey. It's often used and often maybe even misused, the concept. But everybody's journey is a destination-based outcome, isn't it? So we're trying to get people to achieve a certain outcome. And sometimes the value in doing that is not using one wheel, like motorcycling your way to wealth. You want to put multiple wheels on the road. And Lisa talked about that and getting different things going with a business, with property. I know she's getting into the SSAS side of things as well. So, lots of different things that she's doing, some of which she didn't talk about, but I think you did a good job in showcasing kind of how the network marketing business works.
Yeah, I think it's inspiring because we know there's many listeners, Kevin, to the podcast who will perhaps still be in employment, still working hard, trading time for money. And that was very much, Lisa's position. She said she was contracting, working long hours, and it took a while for her to switch her mindset. And it does, doesn't it? Because you're in a very different spot when you turn up to work. You have a team around you and you can just leave at the end of the day. It's not really that simple for most business owners.
Yeah, it's an interesting one because some people crave the structure. And sometimes the very structure that you crave can be a very prison that holds you there. So you need to decide whether that's for you or not. And if you want to work all of your life to generate income and a pension from that, that's absolutely fine. It just takes so much longer. It'll take 30 to 40 years to do that. Whereas I think getting the freedom so much earlier is a key component of what wealth is all about. So you can choose to carry on doing the work you love if that's what you want to do, because you're financially independent of the need to rely on it. And I think having a side hustle, as we mentioned at the beginning of our interview, or creating looking at a network marketing business that has true recurring income potential would be an important distinction, I think, if anyone's looking at network marketing. First of all, to align themselves with what needs to be done to make it work, make the decision, whether you're looking at a top up to your income or whether you're looking to create a business from it, really, as Lisa has done and created a recurring income. And if you think about some of the numbers there, I think she talked about 6,000 a month. Yeah, if you think about if you had to build a pension, right, that gave you 6,000 a month, so give or take 70,000 a year. Multiply that by 20. You need 1.5 million in your pension. Well, if you can do that in a few years, you're doing a good job. So, and while, yes, it's important to recognize that she did say in the pandemic, things, went up and then her own energy went down. So it's not a passive thing. Recurring needs management. It needs maintenance. It needs your own motivation. And all of these things you've got to pay attention to. Otherwise, like any asset, if it has no attention, in the end, if you just imagine a piece of property, Chris, property we know is one of the most popular assets that people use to build wealth. But if you own a property and never look at it, never service it, never maintain it, it will dilapidate. So there has to be some level of that management in place. And I think she took her eye off the ball, self-admitted, and then it's got her eye very firmly back on the prize again. And it's doing a great job. So, well done to Lisa.
Yeah, and definitely recognise many parallels with, the community there in terms of Wealth Builders community, the support of having others around you, speaking the same language, on the same path, and a lot of those personal development elements that come along with that as well. So really building your character, building your confidence as you progress. And network marketing, it is that good kind of entry level for someone who's not been in business before, that gives you that foot up, gives you, as you said earlier, that framework and structure.
Yeah, and it's so much easier to get into a business where there's already a demand, there's already structure, there's already products, there's already processes. than it is to invent and create one. It's so much harder because the demand is already proven, the pathway is already well trodden, and you just copy it as long as it's the right path for you. And Lisa talked about why it's the right path for her, and she seeks out people. And the point I think I'd mentioned is she meets people and says, "I love your energy." I mean, crumbs. I mean, what a compliment is that? And you listen out and look out for people with energy, and that's what she's doing. And I think you meet Lisa, you realise she's a live wire. She's completely full of energy. And I love that about Lisa. When I met her, it's like, whoa, she's radiating here. And that radiation is an important element, I think, in that kind of a business where blaze energy is really important. And as I mentioned in our introduction, Chris, when we ask people in Wealth Builders to do their wealth dynamic, we get a reading, don't we, of the 4 different kind of elements of that. The energy of creativity, the energy of connectivity, the energy of, I suppose, getting things done, and what we call tempo energy, and the energy of analysis and detail and data, which is steel energy. And she's very high on the blaze energy, as you can tell. And I think it suits people who are like that. It's not as likely to suit someone who's very introspective, although I'm sure there are successes there. I think it's more likely to suit people who have that natural ebullience, which she has in spades.
So a great example there of someone who's really found their flow, and congratulations to Lisa and to Tim as well as they forge forwards on their path to financial security and onwards to independence. So we'll be bringing more guests, more members shining the light on their path in future weeks. So that just about wraps up things for today, Kevin. So we'll be back here same time, same place next week.
We will indeed, my friend. Until then, see ya.